Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we will be looking at AQA A-Level Psychology 2017 Paper 1 Examplar Answers for Memory, which you need to know for AQA A-Level Psychology. I hope you enjoy this video and find it helpful. Let's get started. Please note that these answers have been produced with knowledge of the mark scheme but have not been approved by the mark scheme themselves. There are 3 assessment objectives, AOs, in psychology. In this video they are color-coded. AO1 Knowledge, purple. AO2 Application, blue. AO3 Evaluation, red and green. Question 1. 2 types of long-term memory are procedural memory and episodic memory. Explain 2 differences between procedural memory and episodic memory. 4 marks. 1 difference between episodic memories and procedural memories is that episodic memories are explicit, declarative and can be expressed verbally, whereas procedural memories are implicit, non-declarative and difficult to explain verbally. A second difference between episodic memories and procedural memories is that episodic memories are memories of personal events and experiences, episodes, in a person's life, autobiographical, e.g. people, places, objects and behaviors, are all interwoven to produce a single memory, whereas procedural memories are memories of motor skills and actions, muscle memories, usually learnt through repetition and practice. In an investigation into memory, participants were presented with 2 different lists of words. After seeing the lists, participants were tested on their ability to recall the words. When tested immediately, participants found it more difficult to recall the words from List A in the correct order. When tested after 30 minutes, participants found it more difficult to recall the words from List B in the correct order. Question 2. Using your knowledge of coding in memory, explain these findings. 4 marks. In the immediate task condition, List A is made up of words that are acoustically similar. This will cause confusion, difficulty and problems when tested immediately, as short-term memory, STM, uses acoustic phonetic sound-based coding. In the delayed task condition, List B is made up of words that are semantically similar. This will cause confusion, difficulty and problems when tested after 30 minutes, as long-term memory, LTM, uses semantic meaning-based coding. Question 3. Outline and evaluate research, theories and/or studies into the effects of misleading information on eyewitness testimony. 16 marks. Misleading information is incorrect information given to the eyewitness after the event, leading questions post-event discussion between co-witnesses people, which may alter their memory or recollection of the original event, making it more difficult to recall accurate information. A leading question is a type of question that suggests particular answer or contains information that prompts the respondent to answer in a specific way. These questions often guide the respondent towards a desired response or answer, rather than allowing them to answer freely. Loftus and Palmer, 1974, conducted a landmark study to investigate whether misleading information, the wording of the question and effects of language, could distort eyewitness testimony accounts. An opportunity sample of 45 university students was shown clips of car accidents and then asked specific questions about what they had seen. There were 5 conditions, only one of which was experienced by each participant, an independent measures experimental design. A critical question was asked about the speed of the cars where the wording varied. The participants were either asked how fast were the cars going when they smashed, hit, collided, bumped, contacted into each other. They found that the words that implied a stronger collision resulted in a greater average estimate of speed from participants. The participants in the smashed condition reported the highest speed estimate, 40.8 miles per hour, followed by collided, 39.3 miles per hour, bumped, 38.1 miles per hour, hit, 34 miles per hour, and contacted, 31.8 miles per hour, in descending order, demonstrating how leading questions could influence memory recall. Loftus and Palmer suggested 2 reasons for these results. 1. Response bias. The misleading information provided may have influenced the answer a person gave, a response bias, but didn't actually lead to a false memory of the event. Therefore, leading questions do not affect memory, just choice for answer. 2. Substitution bias. The memory representation is altered. The critical verb changes a person's perception of the accident. Some critical words would lead someone to perceive the accident as more serious. This perception is then stored in a person's memory of the event. Therefore, question wording actually distorts memory. They concluded that the estimated speed was affected by the verb used. The verb implied information about the speed, which systematically affected the participant's memory of the accident. In a follow-up experiment, 150 participants were watched clips of a multiple car crash. Afterwards, 50 participants were asked how fast were the car going when they hit each other, 50 participants were asked how fast were the cars going when they smashed each other, and the remaining 50 participants were not asked a question about the car's speed, i.e., the control group. 1 week later, without seeing the clips again, participants answered 10 questions, including a critical question: did you see any broken glass? Yes or no. There was none. They found that participants who were asked how fast the cars were going when they smashed were more likely to report seeing broken glass. They concluded that questioning techniques easily distorts memory, and information acquired after an event can merge with original memory, causing inaccurate recall or reconstructive memory. The follow-up study suggested that this effect is not just due to a response bias, because leading questions altered the participant's memory for the event, confabulation. Consequently, Loftus and Palmer support the reconstructive memory hypothesis, arguing that information gathered at the time of an event is modified by data gathered afterward. Over time, information from these two sources is integrated so that it is impossible to separate them. In effect, we have only one memory. A limitation of Loftus and Palmer's study is that it lacks population validity. The participants were university students, which may limit the generalizability of the findings to other populations. Students are not representative of the general population in several ways. The students are likely to have been less experienced drivers or possibly never even driven a car before, and therefore may lack the knowledge of driving skills and may be less confident than an experienced driver would be in their ability to estimate speed. This may have influenced the students to be more swayed by the verb in the question. This is a limitation because it suggests that the findings of Loftus and Palmer's study may not be applicable or generalizable to the wider population, particularly those outside the university student demographic. If the sample lacks diversity in age, experience, and background, it raises concerns about the reliability of the conclusions drawn from the study. A limitation of Loftus and Palmer's study is that the study lacks ecological validity. The study was conducted in a laboratory, which is an artificial setting. The environment would have the atmosphere of a controlled space, which does not accurately reflect real-life situations where eyewitness accounts occur. In everyday life, people witness events in dynamic and often stressful conditions, which can significantly affect their memory and perception. In a lab setting, participants are aware that they are being studied, which may alter their behavior and responses. This artificiality can lead to results that do not translate well to real-world scenarios, where factors such as emotional arousal, distractions, and the presence of other witnesses can influence how individuals recall events. This is a limitation because it suggests that the findings may not be applicable to real-world situations where eyewitness testimony is critical. The controlled environment of the laboratory fails to replicate the complexities and pressures of actual events, meaning that the way participants respond in a study may differ significantly from how they would react in a genuine eyewitness scenario. Post-event discussion occurs when there is more than one witness to an event. Witnesses may discuss what they have seen with their co-witnesses or with other people. This influences the accuracy of each witness's recall of the event, as information, which may be misleading, is added to a memory after the event occurs, reducing the accuracy of the witness's recall. This can result in memory conformity, where individuals' memories become similar to those of others after discussing an event. This can lead to the incorporation of incorrect details into one's own memory, false memory, where a person recalls something that did not happen or recalls it differently from the way it actually happened, reconstruction, the process by which memories are pieced together from various sources of information. Rather than being a perfect playback of events, our memories are reconstructed using fragments of actual events, combined with our own interpretations, emotions, and external influences. Confabulation, the creation of false memories without the intention to deceive. Individuals who confabulate may fill in gaps in their memory with fabricated details, believing them to be true. This often occurs unconsciously and can be a result of various neurological conditions or brain injuries. Gabbert et al., 2003, conducted a study that explored the phenomenon of memory conformity, where individuals' memories can be influenced by the memories of others. 60 students from the University of Aberdeen and 60 elderly adults recruited from a local community watched a clip of a girl stealing money from a wallet. The participants were either tested individually, control group, or in pairs, co-witness group. The participants in the co-witness group were told that they had watched the same video, however they had in fact seen different perspectives of the same crime and only one person had actually witnessed the girl stealing. Participants in the co-witness group discussed the crime together. All of the participants then completed a questionnaire, testing their memory of the event. They found that 71% of participants who had discussed the event with their partner reported details they had not actually seen but had learned from their partner, indicating that their memories were influenced by the discussion. 60% of participants claimed she was guilty despite not actually witnessing her commit the crime. They concluded that co-witness discussion can lead to memory conformity, where individuals incorporate incorrect information from others into their own memories. They also concluded that repeat interviewing, each time an eyewitness is interviewed, can increase the chance that the comments from the interviewer will become incorporated into their recollection of events. A limitation of Gabbert et al.'s study is that it cannot conclude why the distortion occurs. While the study demonstrates a clear link between post-event discussion and altered memory recall, it does not delve into the underlying mechanisms that cause this distortion. For instance, it is unclear whether the distortion is due to memory reconstruction, social conformity and pressures, or the influence of post-event information. Without understanding the reasons behind the memory distortion, the implications of the findings remain somewhat limited. This is a limitation because it suggests that the findings may not fully capture the complexity of memory processes in real-world situations. Without knowing the specific mechanisms behind memory distortion, it becomes challenging to apply these findings effectively in practical contexts, such as in legal settings where accurate recall is crucial. A limitation of Gabbert et al.'s study is that it lacks ecological validity. This means that the findings may not be applicable to real-world situations, as the study was conducted in a controlled laboratory environment. In such settings, participants may behave differently than they would in natural circumstances. For example, the stress and emotional factors present during actual witnessing of an event are absent in a lab. Additionally, the artificial nature of the tasks may not accurately represent how people interact and discuss events in everyday life. The dynamics of post-event discussion, including the influence of relationships, social cues, and the context of the situation, are more complex in real-world scenarios. This is a limitation because it suggests that the results may not be representative of how memory functions in everyday life, particularly in high-stakes situations like legal proceedings. When eyewitnesses recall events under stress or emotional duress, their memories might be influenced by various factors that a controlled study cannot replicate. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Bye.